from the Fundamental Home, and it's Friday. It's after Thanksgiving. When you watch this, it will be anyway. I am actually taking apart my turkey. You know, I did my turkey earlier this week because we had guests in town and my husband was working on Thanksgiving. So this is my carcass. Looking good, right? So what I'm getting ready to do is take this turkey carcass and just pick all of the meat off of it so I can get it down to bone. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this. I was thinking about doing a turkey frame soup, but I think what I'm actually going to do is do twofold. I think I'm going to do a leftover turkey soup of a different kind. You're gonna love it. And I think I'm also going to take the frame and just make some stock because I haven't made any turkey stock in a while. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do with that. So anyway, I'm going to sit here and pick apart this turkey and get this taken care of, and then we'll get started on some soup. You'll love it. So we have finished picking the turkey, we meaning me. You can see the carcass is just about empty. I've pulled a lot of the bones off. There's a little meat left, but I am going to actually make some broth, and I'll pick it a little more after it's been soaked and cooked. This is my pile of yucky pieces. I'm also going to put that in the broth to soak and probably go through that a little bit too. It has little bits of meat that were crusty and dry from sitting in the fridge, and then it's got a little bit more bones and just all kinds of yucky things that we wouldn't necessarily eat, but it's going to be good in the broth. And then over here is the actual meat. This is good chunky pieces of meat that we're going to use for other dishes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, first I'm going to get my crock pot out. I'm going to get all of this, the carcass and the yucky stuff, and throw it in there, throw some water on it. I'll probably add a few fresh vegetables in there, probably a little more celery, maybe some carrots, maybe some onions, and we'll go ahead and toss it in. I do want to say though, I did take the apple out. The apple is removed and in the trash. But the celery and the onions that were roasted, they're over here. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the crock pot too. So we'll do that and then we'll start on our soup. Okay, here's one of my crock pots. This one has all of the pile of gooey stuff. And I just went ahead and threw in half of onion and a bunch more of the frozen celery I have, and I diced up 3 carrots, and I split it between this crock pot and this crock pot, which the carrots and onion are kind of buried at the bottom here. But this is the actual carcass in this crock pot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill them to the top with water, and I'm going to let this one sit probably on low, possibly even for 24 hours. I think I'm going to let it ride for a good long while. So we'll make it this filled with water, and then I'll have my broth going, and then I will show you how I make my soup. One more thing I did forget to mention, I've added the water now. I am going to add a little bit of salt and a couple of, let me get it over here, bay leaves. So just a couple per pot. So a little bit of salt, bay leaves. It's already on low. That one's on low. And we'll go over here, and this one is also on low. And we will see what comes of it. So let me add the salt, bay leaves. We'll let this get started, and then I'm going to work on the other. Okay, so here is my pan, and here's the star, the surprise star of my leftover soup, and it is bacon. That's right. I have 2 pounds of turkey bacon right there, which, if you don't know, I actually got a package of 3 pounds of turkey bacon for $2.49. So this is less than $1 per pound of bacon. It's going to make me a big old pot of soup that's going to go for a couple of different meals, and of course the leftover turkey. So turkey bacon and turkey soup. Here's a little oil, so I'm getting ready to turn this on and heat it up, and I'll fry up the bacon, and we'll go on to the next step. Bacon's still frying. I figure I'd show you. I went ahead and sliced up a whole onion and a couple of cloves of garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and shred this in my pot just like I do in my chicken soup video. I'll link at the top of the screen a card if you want to check out my chicken soup video. And some potatoes I'm going to cut up, probably 3 or 4 smaller size potatoes. And over here is the turkey. The boys have been picking on it, and Brian had sandwiches, and Ricky made some gluten-free mac and cheese and put some turkey in that. So it's been picked through a little bit, but we still have plenty for the soup. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the potato and the carrot and the turkey in, and as soon as the bacon is done frying, I'm going to fry the onion and garlic until it's softened in the bacon grease, and then we'll toss that in too. So I'm going to finish frying up this bacon, and then you'll see what we're going to do next. Okay, so I have the soup pot, the bacon's still cooking, and I went ahead and threw the carrots in there and some turkey and the potatoes. And I actually thought about it afterwards because I was grabbing my celery out. See, the celery is there with the onion and the garlic. And I thought, oh, I should have put the carrot with it and done like a mirepoix when I'm done, but won't have the carrot in there. That's okay, the carrot's gonna cook really nicely in the soup. So what I'm gonna do is, as soon as this bacon is done frying, we are going to add the garlic, the celery, and the onions and fry that up in the bacon. We'll call it bacon grease. It's really the oil that we cook the bacon in, so it's got that bacon flavor. And then we'll add that in here, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. In here I have the onion and the garlic and the celery cooking down in the grease. And it's looking really good. It smells really good. We're gonna let this soften. It's still rather hard. We're gonna let it sit here and soften. And then work on the next step. Just keep showing you each step so you know what's going on here. Still got the carrots and the potatoes over there. Didn't cook the whole 2 pounds. I cooked about 1.5 pounds. The bacon is sitting over here. I have part of it crumbled, part still whole, and cooking this. So we're making progress. Okay, we're good and cooked down now. Light's starting to get low. I'll have to get something out. Now, what I'm going to add to this is a couple of things. Normally it would just be the turkey broth, but I still have the turkey broth cooking. So what I'm going to add is the leftover gravy. Let me get that out. Yes, that's right. I added my leftover gravy, and it's gotten obviously very thick, sitting in the fridge, but it's going to cook down here in a second. As soon as I get this gravy melted, I'm going to add a little water too, because like I said, normally we would have added broth, but all my broth was used in my gravy. So, and we don't have the bone broth yet. So this will be nice, and this will make our soup really thick and delicious. So it's cooking down really well. And as soon as I get this melted, we're going to add that to our pot with our other ingredients, which include, let me show you over here. That's your turkey and your carrots and your potatoes. So back over here is the carrots and the onions and the celery cooked in the bacon grease with the leftover gravy, or like I said, you could use the turkey broth, or frankly you could just add water if you didn't have either. If you didn't have any leftover gravy or you didn't have any broth, you could just use water, and it would be plenty flavorful because there's loads of flavor in this. I mean, just tons. So here's the other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take some of the bacon, toss it in there because I crumbled it up. You saw that. A couple of handfuls, probably about half a cup. Probably about a half a cup. We're going to put that in there. You will not forget this leftover soup. I promise you that. No lack of flavor here. So, all right, looking good. We are going to toss this into our soup pan, or soup pot. Isn't that delicious looking? Okay, so the soup has been cooking for about 20 minutes, covered. It's probably soft. I'll check in a second. We are going to add some gluten-free pasta, and I'm going to use the gluten-free fusilli. And so this is actually a gluten-free dish because the gravy that we made it with cornstarch rather than flour. So there's nothing in here that is not, so what we did basically was we took the juices from the turkey, the drippings, and made a little roux with butter and some cornstarch and added the drippings, and it turned out really well. And we added that in this soup. So let me take a peek at it. All right, so it's boiling really well. We've lost a little bit of the liquid, but yep, I just pressed on a potato and it's breaking really easily, so everything in there is nice and cooked. So we're gonna add this pasta, and stir it up. That was 8 ounces of pasta. Let me get one more. We just added the other 8 ounces, so that's 16 ounces or a pound of pasta. You could use, if you added elbow noodles, if you have some at your house, from making your macaroni and cheese for Thanksgiving, you could add that as well. But we're gonna go ahead and cook that till it's soft. And we're just about done. We've almost got some grease on my counter. Don't look at that. On my stove, I mean. But we're just about done. I mean, look at that. That is looking, it smells delicious. I wish you could smell this. Okay, we're gonna let that pasta cook down, and it's just about ready. Okay, we are on the last steps. Let me just, whoop. Here is our pot of soup. And you can see how it's really thickened up well with the addition of the noodles. There is a couple more things I'm gonna add real fast. Let me show you what those are and then we'll be done. Okay, I have some heavy whipping cream. And I'm gonna pour some in here. There we go. That's probably about a half a cup. And that's just gonna make it nice and creamy. And I'm also going to add a little bit of shredded cheese. Very little bit, because this is what I had left over from the other things that I made this week. If you wanted to, I'm stirring this up now, you could just add that cheese on top of each bowl with a little bit of extra saved to the side crumbled bacon. The bacon that's cooked in here has gotten soft. We did cook it nice and crisp, but it's still gotten soft. So, that's what's imparted the bacony flavor into the soup. So this is just a really tasty, creamy soup made with our turkey and all of our Thanksgiving leftovers. So let's talk about why this is a Thanksgiving leftover soup. I mean, obviously I use turkey, but if you wanted a variation, you could just use chicken anytime you had chicken. And I'm getting steam from the pot rising up. Anyway, you could also do this a few different ways if you're doing it with your Thanksgiving leftovers. If I had leftover mashed potatoes, I could have used leftover mashed potatoes instead of the cut up and cube potatoes. If you had leftover macaroni and cheese, you could have thrown the macaroni and cheese in the pot and just not added the cheese and not had the extra cooking time that I used for the pasta to cook. Because everything else was already cooked, we were just heating up the pasta in the dish and making it a little thicker. So the reason why this is a really great soup for after Thanksgiving is because we're using so many of the things that we purchased for Thanksgiving. I mean, I don't know about you, but you buy the celery, you buy the extra onions, you buy all of those different ingredients for your Thanksgiving turkey, and then you may or may not use it again for anything else, and then you're working to cut it up to freeze it or find something to put it all in. Well, this soup makes a lot. And you can serve it with some leftover rolls or any of your other leftover greens or other leftover dishes that you have. So it's a very hearty dish. It's a comfort food even, because it has the pasta and the potatoes and the turkey and the bacon and the cheese and the cream. I mean, this is not diet food. I know some of my friends are doing their diet thing right now. I'm all into that, but holidays isn't a good time for me for that. So anyway, we'll get back on track. We have some time here in the next couple weeks to focus on that. But for right now, we're focusing on this right here. It's Friday morning and you're already waiting on this Frugal Family Food video, but I wanted to show you really fast what the broth looked like that I started yesterday. And then I'm gonna edit this so you guys can actually see the soup and the broth. But I wanted you to see the end of it because that's like the main purpose, right? So let me show you what's going on in the pot. This is broth number 1. This is the one that had the actual carcass in it. So if I take it and I press it, the bone's there, but there's all kinds of meaty juiciness I just happen to have a knife. That's what I used. So yeah, you can still see there's a little meat on the bone that we can pull off. So that'll be good. And then over here, here's my other crock pot. Take it off. Don't want to touch it because it's super hot. It's been on for about, I don't know, maybe 18 hours, not quite 24. That one's got a good rolling boil on it. And you can see what that one looks like. Again, there's some meat in there. And it just looks really good. So we're going to go ahead and strain these out and put them in some quart-sized jars and see how much we have. Okay, so here's my setup. I have that big canning jar that I originally had the turkey in, and I just put a strainer over top. If I had cheesecloth, I'd put cheesecloth in it so it'd be a fine mesh, but I don't. So we're going to use this, and I'm getting ready to pour it in. I don't know if you can see how much that is, but that's probably a little over a third of this really large canning jar. Still going to put it in cans and show you. And this is what is left, little sunlight there. This is what is left of the actual thick stuff. And I have it sitting over this other crock pot, and I'm going to pick through it as soon as it cools down and get the extra meat out. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and pour this into some jars. Okay, people, I have actually hit a place of desperation because I just organized my cabinets and I thought that I had more canning jars, and apparently I do not. So when I'm out Black Friday shopping today, I'm going to get myself some more. But the broth in the 2 crock pots made all of these jars. And this is, look, it's a handle, but a jar lid actually fits on that, so that's just going to go in the fridge. So it made all of that. And then this, I had to put it in an actual just plastic container because my glass one is in my fridge holding something else. So I'm going to just put that in the fridge, and we will use this right away, and we'll get to these this afternoon because the ones that are in like this, I'm going to have to put in something else. So anyway, that's quart size jar. These are, I don't even know what size jars those are, to be honest with you. We're talking at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarts plus this. So probably 6 or so quarts, maybe a little more, of the broth. And I'm not letting any of it go. It's all going to go in the fridge, possibly canned, depending on what I might even freeze some of it. So lots of good stuff that came out of that turkey. And that's just the bones and stuff that some people would have thrown away. And do you know how expensive broth is? You should, because it's Thanksgiving and you've gone shopping, so you should know. So like I said, it's Friday morning. I had to get the broth done and show you, just to show you exactly what's made. Oh, and I want to show you one more thing. We actually had some for lunch, but look at that. It plumps up nice and thick, right? Because these noodles soak up all of the liquid. And so even though we'd already had about half of this yesterday for lunch, it's plumped up a little thicker, so I can at least get another meal of soup out of this, maybe even 2. Especially with that broth that I can add in here and make it even more flavorful. So, I mean, you're talking, let's not even talk about all of this that I have to pick through, which is the turkey that was left over after the soup, and that'll make at least 1 batch of turkey pot pie. There you go. I mean, that is just a ton of meals right there. Ton of meals. In fact, I'll probably use the whole turkey that's in the freezer for a different casserole and use the picked turkey from here for the turkey pot pie, because I think that'll go a little bit better. So loads of meals, 1 turkey. I hope that's helpful to you as you're trying to find some leftovers for your turkey. And I am going to go ahead and edit this video before it's like 5 o'clock by the time you see it. It might be, I'm sorry. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful Black Friday. Enjoy your day off. Maybe get some shopping done, I don't know, be frugal. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!